Part 1 of The Camp of Wallenstein by Friedrich Schiller, translated by James Churchill. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Dramatis Personae.
Peasant, read by alanmapstone.
Peasant Boy, read by Charlotte Duckett.
Sergeant, read by Larry Wilson.
Trumpeter, read by Kay Hand.
Hulan, read by David Olson.
Sharpshooter, read by Kristin G.
A Croat, read by BeniaminoMassimo.
An Artilleryman, read by Arnaldo Machado.
First Yager, read by Todd.
Second Yager, read by Lambda.
Soldier Boy, read by Trisha G.
Settler Woman, read by Julia Niedermeyer. Schoolmaster, read by Kristin G.
Servant Girl, read by Savannah Allday.
Citizen, read by Abai.
Dragoon, read by alanmapstone.
Recruit, read by Kristin G.
Capuchin, read by Peter Tucker.
First Arquebusier, read by Trisha G.
First Cuirassier, read by Algie Pug.
Second Cuirassier, read by alanmapstone.
The second Arquebusier, read by Roslyn Carlyle.
Second Sharpshooter, read by Anna Simon.
Narrated by Libby Gohn. Scene: the camp before Pilsen in Bohemia. Scene 1. Settlers' tents in front, a slop shop, soldiers of all colors and uniforms thronging about, tables all filled, Croats and Hulans cooking at a fire, settler woman serving out wine, soldier boys throwing dice on a drumhead, singing heard from the tent. Enter a peasant and his son.
Father, I fear it will come to harm, so let us be off from this soldier's swarm. But boisterous mates will ye find in the shoal, 'twere better to bolt while our skins are whole.
How now, boy, the fellows won't eat us, though they may be a little unruly or so. See yonder arriving a stranger train. Fresh comers are they from the sow and main. Much booty they bring of the rarest sort. 'Tis ours if we cleverly drive our sport. A captain, who fell by his comrade's sword, this pair of sure dice to me transferred. Today I'll just give them a trial to see if their knack's as good as it used to be. You must play the part of a pitiful devil, for these roaring rogues who so loosely revel are easily smoothed and tricked and flattered, and, free as it came, their gold is scattered. But we, since by bushels our all is taken, by spoonfuls must ladle it back again. And if with their swords they slash so highly, we must look sharp, boy, and do them slyly.
Singing and shouting in the tent.
Hark how they shout! God help the day! 'Tis the peasants' hide for their sport must pay. 8 months in our beds and stalls have they been swarming here until far round. Not a bird nor a beast is longer found, and the peasant, to quiet his craving maw, has nothing now left but his bones to gnaw. Ne'er were we crushed with a heavier hand, when the Saxon was lording it o'er the land. And these are the Emperor's troops, they say.
From the kitchen a couple are coming this way. Not much shall we make by such blades as they.
They're born Bohemian knaves, the two, belonging to Terzky's Carabineers, who've lain in these quarters now for years. The worst are they of the worthless crew. Strutting, swaggering, proud and vain, they seem to think they may well disdain with the peasant a glass of his wine to drain. But soft to the left of the fire I see 3 riflemen, who from the Tyrol should be. Emmerich, come boy, to them will we. Birds of this feather 'tis luck to find, whose trim's so spruce and their purse well lined.
They move towards the tent. Scene 2. The above, Sergeant Major, Trumpeter, Hulan.
What would the boar? Out, rascal, away.
Some victuals and drink, worthy masters, I pray, for not a warm morsel we've tasted today.
Ay, Guz and Guddle, 'tis always the way.
Not broken your fast? There, drink, ye hound.
He leads the peasant to the tent. The others come forward.
Think ye they've done it without good ground? Is it likely they double our pay today, merely that we may be jolly and gay?
Why, the Duchess arrives today, we know, and her daughter, too.
Tush, that's mere show. 'Tis the troops collected from other lands, who here at Pilsen have joined our bands. We must do the best. We can't allure 'em with plentiful rations, and thus secure 'em. Where such abundant fare they find, a closer league with us to bind.
Yes, there's something in the wind.
The generals and commanders, too,
A rather ominous sight, 'tis true.
were met together so thickly here.
Have plenty of work on their hands, that's clear.
The whispering and sending to and fro.
Aye, aye.
The bigwig from Vienna, I trow, who since yesterday's seen to prowl about in his golden chain of office there. Something's at the bottom of this, I'll swear.
A bloodhound is he beyond a doubt, by whom the Duke's to be hunted out.
Mark ye well, man, they doubt us now, and they fear the Duke's mysterious brow. He hath clomb too high for them, and fain would they beat him down from his perch again.
But we will hold him still on high, that all would think as you and I.
Our regiment and the other 4 which Tersky leads, the bravest corps throughout the camp, are the general's own, and have been trained to the trade by himself alone. The officers hold their command of him, and are all his own, or for his life or limb.
Scene 3. Enter Croat with a necklace, Sharpshooter following him. The above.
Croat, where stole you that necklace, say? Get rid of it, man, for 'tis unmeet. Come, take these pistols in change, I pray.
Nay, nay, Master Shooter, you're trying to cheat.
Then I'll give you this fine blue cap as well, a lottery prize which just I won. Look at the cut of it, quite as well.
Croat, twirling the necklace in the sun.
But this is of pearls and of garnets bright. See how it plays in the sunny light.
Sharpshooter taking the necklace.
Well, I'll give you to boot my own canteen. I'm in love with this bauble's beautiful sheen.
Looks at it.
See now how cleanly the Croat is done. Snacks, Master Shooter, and mum's the word.
Croat, having put on the cap.
I think your cap is a smartish one.
Sharpshooter winking to the trumpeter.
'Tis a regular swoop, as these gents have heard.
Scene 4. The above, an artilleryman.
How is this, I pray, brother carabinier? Shall we longer stay here, our fingers warming, while the foe in the field around us is swarming?
Art thou indeed in such hasty fret? Why, the roads, as I think, are scarce passable yet.
For me, they're not. I'm snug enough here. But a courier's come, our wits to waken, with the precious news the Ratsbund's taken.
Ha! Then we soon shall have work in hand.
Indeed, to protect the Bavarian's land, who hates the Duke as we understand, we won't put ourselves in a violent sweat.
Hey day, you'll find your waysaker yet.
Scene 5. The above, 2 Yagers, afterwards settler woman, soldier boy, schoolmaster, servant girl.
See, see, here meet we a jovial company.
Who can these greencoats be, I wonder, that strut so gay and sprucely yonder?
They're the Yagers of Hulk, and the lace they wear, I'll be sworn, was ne'er purchased at Leipzig fair.
Settler woman bringing wine.
Welcome, good sirs.
Zounds, how now? Gustel of Vassovitz here, I vow.
The same in sooth. And you, I know, are the lanky Peter of Itzehoe, who at Glückstadt once, in revelling night, with the wags of our regiment put to flight all his father's shyness, then crowned the fun.
By changing his pen for a rifle gun.
We're old acquaintance then, 'tis clear.
And to think we should meet in Bohemia here.
Oh, here today, tomorrow yonder, as the rude war broom in restless trace scatters and sweeps us from place to place. Meanwhile, I've been doomed far round to wander.
So one would think by the look of your face.
Up the country I've rambled to Thames War, whither I went with the baggage car. When Mansfeld before us we chased away, with the Duke near Stralsund next we lay, where the trade went all to pot, I may say. I jogged with the suckers to Mantua, and back again came under Feria. Then, joining a Spanish regiment, I took a short cut across to Ghent. And now to Bohemia I'm come to get all scores paid off that are standing yet, if a helping hand by the Duke be lent. And yonder you see my saddler's tent.
Well, all things seem in a flourishing way. But what have you done with the Scotchman, say, who once in the camp was your constant flame?
A villain who tricked me clean that same. He bolted and took to himself whatever I'd managed to scrape together, or spare, leaving me naught but the urchin there.
Mother, is it my papa you name?
Well, the Emperor now must father this elf, for the army must ever recruit itself.
Forth to the school, you rogue, do you hear?
He, too, of a narrow room has fear.
Servant girl entering.
And they'll be off.
I come apace.
What gypsy is that with the roguish face?
My sister's child from the south is she.
Aye, aye, a sweet little niece, I see.
Second Yager holding the girl.
Softly, my pretty one, stay with me.
The customers wait, sir, and I must go.
Disengages herself and exit.
That maiden's a dainty morsel, I trow, and her aunt, by heaven, I mind me well, when the best of the regiment loved her so, to blows for her beautiful face they fell. What different folks one's doomed to know, how time glows off with a ceaseless flow, and what sights as yet may we live to see. Your health, good sirs, may we be free a seat beside you here to take?
Scene 6. The Yagers, Sergeant, and Trumpeter.
We thank ye, and room will gladly make. To Bohemia welcome.
Snug enough here, in the land of the foe our quarters were queer.
You haven't the look on't, you're spruce to view.
Aye, faith, and on Saul, and in Meissen too, your praises are heard from the lips of few.
Zushman, why, what the plague do you mean? The Croat had swept the field so clean. There was little or nothing for us to glean.
Yet your pointed collar is clean and sightly, and then your hose, that sits so tightly, your linen so fine with the hat and feather, make a show of smartness altogether, that fortune should upon yonkers shine, while nothing in your way comes or mine.
But then we're the Friedlanders' regiment, and thus may honor and homage claim.
For us now, that's no great compliment. We also bear the Friedlanders' name.
True, you form part of the general mass.
And you, I suppose, are a separate class? The difference lies in the coats we wear, and I have no wish to change with you there.
Sir Yager, I can't but with pity melt, when I think how much among boors you've dwelt. The clever knack and the proper tone are caught by the general's side alone.
Then the lesson is woefully thrown away. How he hawks and spits! Indeed, I may say you've copied and caught in the cleverest way. But his spirit, his genius, oh, these I ween, on your guard parade are but seldom seen.
Why, zounds! Ask for us wherever you will. Friedland's wild hunt is our title still, never shaming the name. All undaunted we go, alike through the field of a friend or a foe, through the rising stalk or the yellow corn. Well know they blast of Orc's Yager horn. In the flash of an eye, we are far or near, swift as the deluge, or there or here. As at midnight dark, when the flames outbreak, in the silent swelling where none awake, Vain is the hope in weapons of flight, nor order nor discipline's what its might, since struggles are made in our sinewy arms, but war hath no pity, and scorns alarms. Go, ask, I speak not with boastful tongue, in Beirut, Westphalia, Fortland, wherever our troops have traversed. Go, ask them there, children, and children's children long, when hundreds and hundreds of years are over, of Holk will tell and his Yager corps.
Why, hark, must a soldier then be made by driving this riotous, roaring trade? 'Tis drilling that makes him, skill and sense, perception, thought, intelligence.
'Tis liberty makes him. Here's a fuss, that I should such twaddle as this discuss. Was it for this that I left the school, that the scribbling desk and the slavish rule, and the narrow walls that our spirits cramp, should be met with again in the midst of the camp? No, idle and heedless I'll take my way, hunting for novelty every day. Trust to the moment with dauntless mind, and give not a glance or before or behind. For this to the emperor I sold my hide, that no other care I might have to bide. Through the foe's fierce firing bid me ride, through fathomless Rhine in his roaring flow, where every third man to the devil may go. At no bar will you find me boggling there. But farther than this, 'tis my special prayer that I may not be bothered with aught like care.
If this be your wish, you needn't lack it. 'Tis granted to all with the soldier's jacket.
What a fuss and a bother, forsooth, was made by that man-tormentor Gustavus the Swede, whose camp was a church where prayers were said at morning reveille and evening tattoo, and whenever it chanced that we friskily grew, a sermon himself from the saddle he'd read.
Aye, that was a man with the fear of God.
Girls he detested, and what's rather odd, if caught with a wench you in wedlock were tacked, I could stand it no longer, so off I packed.
Their discipline now has a trifle slacked.
Well, next to the League I rode over. Their men were mustering in haste against Maidenberg then. Ha! That was another guess sort of thing. In frolic and fun we'd a glorious swing, with gaming and drinking and girls at call. If faith, sirs, our sport was by no means small. For Tilly knew how to command, that's plain. He held himself in, but gave us the rein, and, long as he hadn't the bother of paying, live and let live was the general's saying. But fortune soon gave him the slip, and ne'er since the day of that villainous Leipzig affair would aught go aright. 'Twas of little avail that we tried, for our plans were sure to fail. If now we drew nigh and rapped at the door, no greeting awaited, 'twas opened no more. From place to place we went sneaking about, and found that their stock of respect was out. Then touched I the Saxon bounty, and thought their service with fortune must needs be fraught.
You joined them then just in the nick to share Bohemia's plunder?
I'd small luck there. Strict discipline sternly ruled the day, nor dared we a foeman's force display. They set us to guard the imperial forts, and plagued us all with the farce of the courts. War they waged as a jest 'twere thought, and but half a heart to the business brought. They would break with none, and thus 'twas plain small honour among them would a soldier gain. So heartily sick in the end grew I, that my mind was the desk again to try. When suddenly, rattling near and far, the Friedlander's drum was heard to war.
And how long here may you mean to stay?
You jest, man. So long as he hears the sway, by my soul, not a thought of change have I. Where better than here could the soldier lie? Here the true fashion of war is found, and the cut of powers on all things round, while the spirit whereby the movement's given mightily stirs, like the winds of heaven, the meanest trooper in all the throng. With a hearty step shall I tramp along on a burgher's neck, as undaunted tread as our general does on the prince's head. As 'twas in the times of old, 'tis now. The sword is the sceptre, and all must bow. One crime alone can I understand, and that's to oppose the word of command. What's not forbidden to do, make bold, and none will ask you what creed you hold, of just two things in this world I wot, what belongs to the army and what does not. To the banner alone is my service bought.
Thus, Yager, I like thee. Thou speakest, I vow, with the tone of a Friedland trooper now.
'Tis not as an office he holds command, or a power received from the emperor's hand. For the emperor's service what should he care? What better for him does the emperor fare? With the mighty power he wields at will, has ever he sheltered the land from ill? No. A soldier kingdom he seeks to raise, and for this would set the world in a blaze, daring to risk and to compass all.
Hush! Who shall such words as these let fall?
Whatever I think may be said by me, for the general tells us the word is free.
True, that he said so, I fully agree. I was standing by. The word is free, the deed is dumb, obedience blind. His very words I can call to mind.
I know not if these were his words or no, but he said the thing, and 'tis even so.
Victory never will his flags forsake, though she sapped from others a zone to take. Old till he outlived his fame's decline, but under the banner of Wallenstein, Zara may certain that victory's mine. Fortune is spellbound to him, and must yield. Whoever under Friedland shall take the field is sure of a supernatural shield. For, as all the world is aware full well, the Duke has a devil in hire from hell.
In truth, that he's charmed is past a doubt, for we know how at Lutzen's bloody affair, where firing was thickest he still was there, as coolly as might be, sirs, riding about. The hat on his head was shot through and through. In coat and boots the bullets that flew left traces full clear to all men's view, but none got so far as to scratch off his skin, for the ointment of hell was too well rubbed in.
What wonder so strange can you all see there? An elkskin jacket he happens to wear, and through it the bullets can make no way.
'Tis an ointment of witches' herbs, I say, kneaded and cooked by unholy spell.
No doubt 'tis the work of the powers of hell.
That he reads in the stars we also hear, where the future he sees, distant or near. But I know better the truth of the case. A little gray man at the dead of night through bolted doors to him will pace. The sentinels oft have held the sight, and something great was sure to be nigh when this little gray coat had glided by.
Aye, aye, he sold himself to the devil. Wherefore, my lads, let's feast and revel.
Scene 7. The above, recruit, citizen, dragoon. The recruit advances from the tent, wearing a tin cap on his head and carrying a wine flask.
To father and uncle pray make my bow, and bid 'em goodbye, I'm a soldier now.
See, yonder, they're bringing us something new.
Oh, Franz, remember, this day you'll rue.
The drum and the fife was rattling throng, and a wandering life the world along. Swift steed and a hand to curb and command, with a blade by the side, were off far and wide, as jolly and free as the finch in its glee, on thicket or tree, under heaven's wide hollow. Hurrah, for the Friedlanders' banner I'll follow.
Foreguard, a jolly companion so.
They salute him.
He comes of good kin, now pray let him go.
And we weren't found in the streets, you must know.
I tell you, his wealth is a plentiful stock. Just feel the fine stuff that he wears for a frock.
The emperor's coat is the best he can wear.
To a cap manufactory he is the heir.
The will of a man is his fortune alone.
His grandmother's shop will soon be his own.
Pish, traffic in matches. Who would do it?
A wine shop his grandfather leaves, to boot, a cellar with 20 casks of wine.
These with his comrades he'll surely share.
Hark, ye, lad, be a camp brother of mine.
A bride he leaves sitting, in tears, apart.
Good. That now's a proof of an iron heart.
His grandmother's sure to die with sorrow.
The better, for then he will enter it tomorrow.
Sergeant advances gravely, and lays his head on the recruit's tin cap.
The matter no doubt you have duly weighed, and here a new man of yourself have made. With hanger and helm, sir, you now belong to a nobler and more distinguished throng. Thus a loftier spirit 'twere well to uphold.
And specially never be sparing of gold.
In fortune's ship with an onward gale, my friend, you have made up your mind to sail. The earth ball is open before you, yet there nought's to be gained but those who dare. Stupid and sluggish your citizens found, like a dyer's dull jade, in his ceaseless round, while the soldier can be whatever he will, for war o'er the earth is the watchword still. Just look now at me, and the coat I wear. You see that the emperor's baton I bear. And all good government over the earth, you must know from the baton alone has birth. For the scepter that's swayed by the kingly hand is not but a baton, we understand. And he who has corporal's rank obtained stands in the ladder where all's to be gained, and you, like another, may mount to that height.
Provided you can but read and write.
Now hark to an instance of this from me, and one which I've lived myself to see. There's butler and chief of dragoons, why he whose rank was not higher a whit than mine, some 30 years hence at Cologne and Rhine, is a major general now, because he put himself forward and gained applause, filling the world with his martial fame, while slept my merits without a name. And even the Friedlander's self, I've heard, our general and all-commanding lord, who now can do what he will at a word, had at first but a private squire's degree. In the goddess of war, yet trusting free, he reared with greatness which now you see, and after the emperor next is he. Who knows what more he may mean or get? For all day's evening isn't come yet.
He was little at first, though now so great, for at Althoff in student's gown he played, by your leave, the part of a roaring blade, and rattled away at a queerish rate. His fag he had well nigh killed by a blow, and the Nuremberg worships swore he should go to jail for his pains, if he liked it or no. 'Twas a new-built nest to be christened by him, who first should be lodged. Well, what was his whim? Why, he sent his dog forward to lead the way, and they call the jail from the dog to this day. There was the game a brave fellow should play, and of all the great deeds of the general, none ever tickled my fancy like this one.
During this speech, the second Yager has begun toying with the girl who has been in waiting. Dragoon, stepping between them.
Comrade, give over this sport, I pray.
Why, who the devil shall say me nay?
I've only to tell you the girl's my own.
Such a morsel as this, for himself alone? Dragoon, why say, art thou crazy grown?
In the camp, to be keeping a wench for one? No, the light of a pretty girl's face must fall, like the beams of the sun, to gladden us all.
Kisses her. Dragoon tears her away.
I tell you again that it shan't be done.
The pipers are coming, lads, now for fun.
I shan't be far off, should you look for me.
Peace, my good fellows, a kiss goes free.
End of Part 1. Part 2 of The Camp of Wallenstein by Friedrich Schiller, translated by James Churchill. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Scene 8. Enter minors and play a waltz, at first slowly and afterwards quicker. The first Yager dances with the girl, the sutler woman with the recruit. The girl springs away, and the Yager, pursuing her, seizes hold of a Capuchin friar just entering.
Hurrah! Halloo! Tolol-dorol-lay! The fun's at its height. I'll not be away. Is't an army of Christians that join in such works, or are we all turned Anabaptists and Turks? Is the Sabbath a day for this sport in the land, as though the great God had the gout in his hand, and thus couldn't smite in the midst of your band? Say, is this a time for your revelling shouts, for your banquetings, feasts, and holiday bouts? Quid hic statis otiosi? Declare why, folding your arms, stand ye lazily there, while the furies of war on the Danube now fair, and Bavaria's bulwark is lying full low, and Ratisbon's fast in the clutch of the foe. Yet the army lies here in Bohemia still, and caring for naught, so their paunches they fill. Bottles far rather than battles you'll get, and your bills than your broadswords more readily wet. With the wenches, I ween, is your dearest concern, and you'd rather roast oxen than oxensteern. In sackcloth and ashes while Christendom's grieving, no thought has the soldier his guzzle of leaving. 'Tis a time of misery, groans, and tears, portentous the face of the heavens appears, and forth from the clouds behold, blood-red, the Lord's war-mantle is downward spread, while the comet is thrust as a threatening rod from the window of heaven by the hand of God. The world is but one vast house of woe. The ark of the church stems a bloody flow. The holy empire, God help the same, has wretchedly sunk to a hollow name. The Rhine's gay stream has a gory gleam. The cloisters' nests are robbed by roysters. The churchlands now are changed to lurchlands. Abbacies and all other holy foundations now are but robber seas' rogues' habitations. And thus is each once blessed German state deep sunk in the gloom of the desolate. Whence comes all this? Oh, that I will tell. It comes of your doings, of sin and of hell. Of the horrible heathenish lives ye lead, soldiers and officers, all of a breed. For sin is the magnet on every hand that draws your steel throughout the land. As the onion causes the tear to flow, so vice must ever be followed by woe. The W duly succeeds the V. This is the order of ABC. Ubi erit victorii spes si offenditur Deus, which says, how, pray ye, shall victory e'er come to pass, if thus you play truant from sermon and mass? And do nothing but lazily loll o'er the glass. The woman, we're told in the Testament, found the penny in search whereof she went. Saul met with his father's asses again, and Joseph his precious fraternal train. But he, who among soldiers shall hope to see God's fear or shame or discipline, he from his toil beyond doubt will baffled return, though 100 lamps in the search he burn. To the wilderness preacher, the evangelist says, the soldiers too thronged to repent of their ways, and had themselves christened in former days. Quid faciemus nos, they said, toward Abraham's bosom, what path must we tread? Et ait illis, and, said he, neminem concutiatis, from bother and wrongs leave your neighbours free, neque calumniam faciatis, and deal nor in slander nor lies. D'ye see? Contenti estote, content ye, pray, stipendiis vestris, with your pay, and curse forever each evil way. There is a command, thou shalt not utter the name of the Lord thy God in vain. But where is it men most blasphemies mutter? Why, here, in Duke Friedland's headquarters. 'Tis plain, if for every thunder and every blast which blazing ye from your tongue-points cast, the bells were but rung in the country round, not a bellman, I ween, would there soon be found. And if for each and every unholy prayer which to vent from your jabbering jaws you dare, from your noddles were plucked but the smallest hair, every crop would be smoothed ere the sun went down, though at morn 'twere as bushy as Absalom's crown. Now, Joshua, methinks, was a soldier as well. By the arm of King David the Philistine fell. But where do we find it written, I pray, that they ever blasphemed in this villainous way? One would think ye need stretch your jaws no more to cry, God help us, than Zounds to roar. But by the liquor that's poured in the cask, we know with what it will bubble and overflow. Again, it is written, Thou shalt not steal, and this you follow, i' faith, to the letter, for open-faced robbery suits ye better. The gripe of your vulture claws you fix on all, and your wiles and rascally tricks make the gold unhid in our coffers now, and the calf unsafe while yet in the cow. Ye take both the egg and the hen, I vow. Contenti estote, the preacher said, which means, be content with your army bread. But how should the slaves not from duty swerve? The mischief begins with the Lord they serve. Just like the members, so is the head. I should like to know who can tell me his creed.
Sir Priest, against ourselves rail on as you will. Of the general we warn you to breathe no ill.
Ne custodias gregem meam. An Ahab is he, and a Jerobeam, who the people from faith's unerring way to the worship of idols would turn astray.
Let us not hear that again, we pray.
Such a Brahmabas, whose iron tooth would seize all the strongholds of earth forsooth. Did he not boast, with ungodly tongue, that Stralsund must needs to his grasp be wrung, though to heaven itself with a chain 'twere strung?
Will none put a stop to his slanderous bawl?
A wizard he is, and a sorcerer Saul. Holofernes, a Jehu, denying, we know, like St. Peter, his master and lord below. And hence must he quail when the cock doth crow.
Now, parson, prepare, for thy doom is nigh.
A fox more cunning than Herod, I trow.
Silence again, if thou wouldst not die.
Stick to it, father, we'll shield you, ne'er fear. The close of your preachment now let's hear.
A Nebuchadnezzar in towering pride, and a vile and heretic sinner beside. He calls himself rightly the stone of a wall for faith. He's a stumbling stone to us all, and ne'er can the emperor have peace indeed, till of Friedland himself the land is freed.
During the last passages which he pronounces in an elevated voice, he has been gradually retreating, the Croats keeping the other soldiers off. Scene 9. The above without the capuchin.
But, tell us, what meant he about Chanticleer, whose crowing the general dares to hear? No doubt it was uttered in spite and scorn.
Listen, 'tis not so untrue as it appears, for Friedland was rather mysteriously born, and is especially troubled with ticklish ears. He can never suffer the mew of a cat, and when the cock crows he starts thereat.
He's one and the same with the lion in that.
Mouse still must all around him creep, strict watch in this the sentinels keep, for he ponders on matters most grave and deep.
Voices in the tent, a tumult.
Seize the rascal! Lay on! Lay on!
Help! Mercy! Help!
Peace, peace, begone!
Deuce take me, but yonder the swords are out.
Then I must be off, and see what is about.
Yagers enter the tent.
A scandalous villain, a scurvy thief.
Good hostess, the cause of this clamorous grief?
A cut-purse, a scoundrel, the villain I call, that the like in my tent should ever befall. I'm disgraced and undone with the officers all.
Well, cause, what is it?
Why, what should it be? But a peasant they've taken just now with me, a rogue with false dice to favour his play.
See I, they're bringing the boar and his son this way.
Scene 10. Soldiers dragging in the peasant, bound.
He must hang!
To the provost! Come on!
'Tis the latest order that forth has gone.
In an hour I hope to behold him swinging.
Bad work, bad wages will needs be bringing.
This comes of their desperation. We first ruin them out and out, d'ye see, which tempts them to steal, as it seems to me.
How now, the rascal's cause would you plead? The cur, the devil, is in you indeed.
The boor is a man, as a body may say.
Let him go. They're of Tiefenbach's corps, the railers, a glorious train of glovers and tailors. At Brig, in garrison, long they lay. What should they know about camps, I pray?
Scene 11. The above, Cuirassiers.
Peace. What's amiss with the boor, may I crave?
He has cheated at play, the cozening knave.
But see, has he cheated you, man of aught?
Just cleaned me out, and not left me a groat.
And can you, of the rank of a Friedland man, so shamefully cast yourself away, as to try your luck with the boor at play? Let him run off, so that run he can.
The peasant escapes. The others throng together.
He makes short work, is of resolute mood, and that with such fellows as these is good. Who is he? Not of Bohemia, that's clear.
He's a Walloon, and respect, I trow, is due to the Pappenheim Cuirassier.
Young Piccolomini leads them now, whom they chose as colonel of their own free might, when Pappenheim fell in Lutzen's fight.
Durst they, indeed, presume so far?
This regiment is something above the rest. It has ever been foremost through the war, and may manage its laws as it pleases best. Besides, 'tis by Friedland himself caressed.
Is't so in truth, man? Who have heard it?
From the lips of the colonel himself I heard it.
The devil! We're not the dogs. I weep.
How now? What's wrong? You're swollen with spleen.
Is it anything, comrades? May us concern?
'Tis what none be wondrous glad to learn.
The soldiers press round him.
To the Netherlands they will lend us now. Cuirassiers, Jägers, and shooters, away! 8,000 in all must march, they say.
What? What? Again the old wandering way? I got back from Flanders but yesterday.
You of Butler's corps must tramp with the rest.
And we, the Walloons, must doubtless be gone.
Why, of all our squadrons, these are the best.
To march where that Milanese fellow leads on.
The infant? That's queer enough in its way.
The priest? Son, egad, that's the devil to pay.
Shall we then leave the Friedlanders' train, who so nobly his soldiers doth entertain, and drag to the field with this fellow from Spain, a niggard whom we in our souls disdain? That'll never go down. I'm off, I swear.
Why, what the devil should we do there? We sold our blood to the emperor, ne'er for this Spanish red hat a drop will spare.
On the Friedlanders' word and credit alone, we ranged ourselves in the trooper line, and, but for our love to Wallenstein, Friedland never had our service known.
Was it not Friedland that formed our force? His fortune shall still be the star of our course.
Silence, good comrades, to me give ear. Talking does little to help us here. Much farther in this I can see than you all, and a trap has been laid in which we're to fall.
List to the order book. Hush! Be still.
But first, cousin Gustel, I pray thee fill a glass of Melnick, as my stomach's but weak. When I've tossed it off, my mind I'll speak.
Take it, good sergeant. I quake for fear. Think you that mischief is hidden here?
Look ye, my friends, 'tis fit and clear that each should consider what's most near. But as the general says, say I, one should always the whole of the case descry. We call ourselves all the Friedlanders' troops. The burgher on whom we're billeted stoops, or wants to supply and cooks our soups. His ox or his horse the peasant must chain to our baggage car, and may grumble in vain. Just let a lance-corporal with 7 good men toward a village from far but come within ken. You're sure he'll be prince of the place, and may cut what capers he will, with unquestioned sway. Why, zounds, lads, they heartily hate us all, and would rather the devil should give them a call than our yellow collars. And why don't they fall on us fairly at once, and get rid of our lumber? They're more than our match in point of number, and carry the cudgel as we do the sword. Why can we laugh them to scorn? By my word, because we'll make up here a terrible horde.
Aye, aye, in the mass lies the spell of our might, and the Friedlander judged the matter aright, when, some 8 or 9 years ago, he brought the Emperor's army together. They thought 12,000 enough for the general. In vain, said he, such a force I can never maintain. 60,000 I'll bring ye into the plain, and they, I'll be sworn, won't of hunger die. And thus were we Wallenstein's men, say I.
For example, cut one of my fingers off, this little one here from my right hand doff. Is the taking my finger, then, all you've done? No, no, to the devil my hand is gone. 'Tis a stump no more, and use has none. The 800 horse they wish to disband may be but a finger of our army's hand. But when they're once gone, may we understand we are but 1/5 the less? Oh, no, by the Lord, the whole to the devil will go. All terror, respect, and awe will be over, and the peasant will swell his crest once more, and the Board of Vienna will order us where our troops must be quartered, and how we must fare, as of old in the days of their beggarly care. Yes, and how long it will be, who can say, ere the general himself they may take away, for they don't much like him at court, I learn. And then it's all up with the whole concern, for who to our pay will be left to aid us, and see that they keep the promise they made us? Who has the energy, who the mind, the flashing thought, and the fearless hand, together to bring and thus fastly bind the fragments that form our close-knit band? For example, Dragoon, just answer us now, from which of the countries of earth art thou?
From distant Erin came I here.
You're a Walloon, my friend, that's clear, and you an Italian, as all may hear.
Oh, may I be, faith, I never could say. In my infant years they stole me away.
And you, from what far land may you be?
I come from Bukow, on the Fetter Sea.
Neighbor, and you?
I am a Swiss.
And Yager, let's hear where your country is.
Up above Wismar, my fathers dwell.
And he's from Yager, and I as well. And now, my comrades, I ask you whether would anyone think, when looking at us, that we from the north and south, and thus be hitherward drifted and blown together? We do not seem as hewn from one mass. Stand we not close against the foe, as though we were glued and moulded so? Like millwork don't we move, do you think, 'mong ourselves in the nick, at the word or wink? Who has thus cast us here all as one, now to be severed again by none? Who? Why, no other than Wallenstein.
In my life it ne'er was a thought of mine whether we suited each other or not. I let myself go with the rest of the lot.
I quite agree on the sergeant's opinion. They'd fain have an end of our camp dominion, and trample the soldier down, that they may govern alone in their own good way. 'Tis a conspiration, a plot, I say.
A conspiration? God help the day. Then my customers won't have cash to pay.
Why, faith, we shall all be bankrupts made, the captains and the generals, most of them. paid the costs of the regiments with private cash, and, wishing above all to cut a dash, went a little beyond their means, but thought, no doubt, that they thus had a bargain bought. Now they'll be cheated, sirs, one and all, should our chief, our head, the general, fall.
Oh, heaven! This curse I never can brook. Why, half of the army stand in my book. $200 I've trusted madly, that Count Isolani, who pays so badly.
Well, comrades, let's fix on what's to be done. Of the ways to save us, I see but one. If we hold together we need not fear, so let us stand out as one man here, and then they may order and send as they will. First plantable stick in Bohemia still. We'll never give in, no, nor march an inch. We stand on our honour, and must not flinch.
We are not to be driven the country about. Let 'em come here, and they will find it out.
Good sirs, 'twere well to bethink ye still, that such is the Emperor's sovereign will.
Oh, as to the Emperor, we needn't be nice.
Let me not hear you say so twice.
Why, 'tis even so as I just have said.
True, man. I've always heard 'em say 'tis Friedland alone you're here to obey.
By our bargain with him it should be so. Absolute power is his, you must know. We've war or peace but as he may please. Or gold or goods he has power to seize, and hanging or pardon his will decrees. Captains and colonels he makes, and he, in short, by the imperial seal, is free to hold all the marks of sovereignty.
The Duke is high and of mighty will, but yet must remain, for good or for ill, like us all, but the Emperor's servant still.
Not like us all. I there disagree. Friedland is quite independent and free. The Bavarian is no more a prince than he. For was I not myself to see, when on duty at Brandeis, how the Emperor said he wished him to cover his princely head?
That was because of the Mecklenburg land, which he held in pawn from the Emperor's hand.
In the Emperor's presence, man! Say you so? That, beyond doubt, was a wonderful go.
If you question my word and what I have told, I can give you something to grasp and hold.
Showing a coin.
Whose image and stamp do you here behold?
Oh, that is Wallenstein's, sure.
Well, there you have it. What doubt can rest? Is he not prince, just as good as the best? Coins he not money like Ferdinand? Hath he not his own subjects and land? Is he not called your highness, I pray? And why should he not have his soldiers in?
That no one has ever meant to gainsay, but we're still at the Emperor's beck and call, for his Majesty 'tis who pays us all.
In your teeth I deny it, and will again. His Majesty 'tis who pays us not. For this 40 weeks, say, what have we got but a promise to pay, believed in vain?
What then? 'Tis kept in safe hands, I suppose.
Peace, good sirs, will you come to blows? Have you a quarrel and squabble to know if the Emperor be our master or no? 'Tis because of our rank as his soldiers brave that we scorn the lot of the herded slave, and will not be driven from place to place, as priests or puppies our path may trace. And, tell me, is not the sovereign's gain if the soldiers their dignity will maintain? Who but his soldiers give him the state of a mighty, wide-ruling potentate? Make and preserve for him, far and near, the voice which Christendom quakes to hear. Well enough they may his yoke-chain bear, who feast on his favours, and daily share in golden chambers his sumptuous fare. We of his splendours have no part, naught but hard wearying toil and care, and the pride that lives in a soldier's heart.
All great tyrants and kings have shown their wit as they take it, in what they have done. They have trampled all others with stern command, but the soldiers they have led with a gentle hand.
The soldier his worth must understand, whoe'er doesn't nobly drive the trade, 'twere best from the business far he'd stayed. If I cheerily set my life on a throw, something still better than life I'll know. Or I'll stand to be slain for the paltry pelf, as the Croat still does, and scorn myself.
Yes, honor is dearer than life itself.
The sword is no plough, nor delving tool. He who would deal with it is but a fool. For us neither grass nor grain doth grow. Houseless the soldier is doomed to go, a changeful wanderer over the earth, ne'er knowing the warmth of a home-lit hearth. The city glances, he halts, not there, nor in village meadows so green and fair. The vintage and harvest wreaths that twined he sees, but must leave them far behind. Then tell me, what hath the soldier left, if he's once of his self-esteem bereft? Something he must have his own to call, or on slaughter and bannings at once he'll fall.
God knows 'tis a wretched life to live.
Yet one which I for no other would give. Look ye, far round in the world I've been, and all of its different service seen. The Venetian Republic, the kings of Spain, and Naples I've served, and served in vain. Fortune still frowned, and merchant and knight, craftsman and Jesuit have met my sight. Yet of all their jackets not one have I known to please me like this steel coat of my own.
Well, that now is what I can scarcely say.
In the world the man who would make his way must plague and bestir himself night and day. To honour and place, if he choose the road, he must bend his back to the golden load. And if home delights should his fancy please, with children and grandchildren round his knees, let him follow an honest trade in peace. I've no taste for this kind of life, not I. Free will I live, and as freely die. No man's spoiler or heir will I be, but, throned on my nag, I will smile to see the coil of the crowd that is under me.
Bravo! That's as I've always done.
In truth, sirs, it may be far better fun to trample thus over your neighbour's crown.
Comrade, the times are bad of late. The sword and the scales live separate. But do not then blame that I've preferred, of the two, to lean as I have to the sword. For mercy and war I will yield to none, though I never will stoop to be drummed upon.
Who but the soldier the blame should bear that the labouring poor so hardly fare? The war with its plagues, which all have blasted, now 16 years in the land hath lasted.
Why, brother, the blessed God above can't have from us all an equal love. One prays for the sun, at which t'other will fret. One is for dry weather, t'other for wet. What you now regard as with misery rife is to me the unclouded sun of life. If 'tis at the cost of the burgher and the boor, I really am sorry that they must endure. But how can I help it? Here you must know, 'tis just like a cavalry charge 'gainst the foe. The steeds, loud snorting, and on they go. Whoever may lie in the mid-career, be it my brother or son so dear, should his dying groan my heart divide, yet over his body I needs must ride, nor pitying stop to drag him aside.
True. Who ever asks how another may bide?
Thus, me lads, 'tis my counsel, while on the soldier Dame Fortune deigns to smile, that we with both hands her bounty clasp, for it may not be much longer left to our grasp. Peace will be coming some overnight, and then there's an end of our martial might. The soldier, unhorsed, and fresh mounted to bore, ere you can think it, 'twill be as before. As yet we're together, firm bound in the land. The hilt is yet fast in the soldier's hand, but let him divide us, and soon we shall find short commons is all that remains behind.
No, no, by the Lord, that won't do for me. Come, come, lads, let's all now as one agree.
Yes, let us resolve on what is to be.
The first arquebusier to the sutler woman, drawing out his leather purse.
Hostess, tell us how high you've scored.
Oh, 'tis unworthy a single word.
They settle.
You do well, sirs, to take a further walk. Your company only disturbs our talk.
Exeunt arquebusiers.
Plague take the fellows, they're brave, I know.
They haven't a soul above the soap boilers, though.
We are now alone, so teach us who can. How best we may meet and mass their plan.
How? Why, let's tell them we will not go.
Despising old discipline, no, my lads, no. Rather his call let each of us seek, and quietly then with his comrades speak, that every soldier may clearly know it were not for his good so far to go. For my walloons to answer I'm free, every man of 'em thinks and acts with me.
The Tersky regiments, both horse and foot, will thus resolve, and will keep them to it.
The Walloons and the Lombards one intent.
Freedom is Yager's own element.
Freedom must ever with might entwine. I'll live and will die by Wallenstein.
Till a reign is go on with the strongest tide, where spirits are light and courage tried.
An Irishman follows his fortune's star.
The Tyrolese for their sovereign war.
Then, comrades, let each of our corps agree a pro memoria to sign, that we, in spite of all force or fraud, will be to the fortunes of Friedland firmly bound, for in him is the soldier's father found. This we will humbly present when done to Piccolomini, I mean the son, who understands these kinds of affairs, and Friedland's highest fever shares. Besides, with the Emperor's self, they say he holds a capital card to play.
Well, then, in this, let us all agree, that the Colonel shall our spokesman be.
Good, the Colonel shall our spokesman be.
Hold, sirs, just toss off a glass with me, to the health of Piccolomini.
Sutler woman brings a flask.
This shall not go to the list of scores. I gladly give it. Success be yours.
The soldier shall sway.
The peasant shall pay.
The army shall flourishing stand.
And the Friedlander keep the command.
Arouse ye, my comrades, to horse, to the field and to freedom we guide. For there a man feels the pride of his force, and there is the heart of him tried. No help to him there by another is shown, he stands for himself and himself alone.
The soldiers from the background have come forward during the singing of this verse and form the chorus.
No help to him by another is shown, he stands for himself, and himself alone.
Now freedom hath fled from the world, we find but lords and their bondsmen vile, and nothing holds sway in the breast of mankind, save falsehood and cowardly guile. Who looks in death's face with a fearless brow? The soldier alone is the free man now.
Who looks in death's face with a fearless brow, the soldier alone is the free man now. With the troubles of life he ne'er bothers his pate, and feels neither fear nor sorrow, but boldly rides onward to meet with his fate. He may meet it today or tomorrow. And if tomorrow 'twill come, then I say, drain we the cup of life's joy today.
And if tomorrow 'twill come, then I say, drain we the cup of life's joy today.
The glasses here are refilled, and all drink.
'Tis from heaven his jovial lot has birth, nor needs he to strive or toil. The peasant may grope in the bowels of the earth, and for treasures may greedily moil. He digs and he delves through life for his pelf, and digs till he grubs out a grave for himself.
He digs and he delves through life for the pelf, and digs till he grubs out a grave for himself.
The rider and lightning steed, a pair of terrible guests, I ween. From the bridal hall, as the torches glare, unbidden they join the scene. Nor gold nor wooing his passion prove, by storm he carries the prize of love.
Nor gold nor wooing his passion prove, by storm he carries the prize of love. Why mourns the wench with so sorrowful face? Away, girl, the soldier must go. No spot on the earth is his resting place, and your true love he never can know. Still onward driven by fate's rude wind, he nowhere may leave his peace behind.
Still onward, driven by fate's rude wind, he nowhere may leave his peace behind.
The first Yager takes the two next to him by the hand, the others do the same, and form a large semicircle.
Then rouse ye, my comrades, to horse, to horse! In battle the breast doth swell. Youth boils, the life-cup foams in its force. Up! Our time can do dispel. And deep be the stake, as the prize is high. Who life would win, he must dare to die.
And deep be the stake, as the prize is high. Who life would win, he must dare to die.
The curtain falls before the chorus has finished. End of Part 2. End of The Camp of Wallenstein by Friedrich Schiller, translated by James Churchill.